Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, why telling the truth shames the devil? And it's not for the reason you think. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel because today we're reviewing the Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 8, Alloyed? Alloy?
Yes, Alloyed.
What were your initial impressions?
Jesus Christ, this was a lot to unpack. We get the rings started, and that's just insane. We find out who the fucking... Well, I guess we don't really fully find out who the stranger is, but we kind of have an idea who the stranger is.
They tip their cap.
We find out who Halbrand is. Like, holy shit, this was... It's funny. I want to say this is everything that I said was going to be bullshit if it happened, but it wasn't bullshit.
Yeah. I loved this episode. I thought it started with a little misdirection, but after I yelled
loved that
for a while, I was like screaming at my wife in the TV. So, yeah.
It was good. Really
well, okay, so this is directed by Wayne Che Yip, written by Jennifer Hutchinson and J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, and this premiered October 14, just this past Friday. Let's walk through this. There's a lot that happened in this damn episode.
There was a lot. Well, so I mean, it starts off with Galadriel and Halbrand showing up, and whatever. There we go, Eregion. And Halbrand fucking like loses his entire fucking load because he's like, holy shit, this is like Celebrimbor shit, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, it totally is. That's cool. And then lights. Holy shit, you're Celebrimbor. And just fucking so much spunk had to be cleaned up because he just was so excited.
I didn't realize Halbrand was a star fucker. But he's
he
totally a star
is
fucker.
Fucking star fucker.
I mean, when we realize who he is at the end, we understand he was just fucking, Celebrimbor just wants people to love him in the first place. And the very beginning of things, I want to make something that lasts. You know, like he's just such a delicate flower that just wants someone to remember.
He's an artist. It's
an artiste.
That's how it is.
Which is great. He's just over the top in his own role. And then Halbrand is just playing right into that. And like, was there a point where Galadriel came and she's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what are you guys doing? You're like making out. This shouldn't be happening. They're like working together and everyone's like, they have like their own secret little language, like little nods and mentions. And she's just like the third wheel. Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's what made her suspicious. She's like, this isn't okay. I'm going to dig up some dirt.
There's no way someone could like me better or like him better than me.
Right. The fucking grumpy ass curmudgeon with a chip on her shoulder. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's because she has stinky queefs.
Probably.
Like, that's the reason.
I mean, she's a fucking warrior, man. She doesn't have time to shower and take care of herself. Fuck that.
There was a chapter that was left out of the Silmarillion called the Silmarillion Apocrypha, and that was all about her smelly queefs.
Probably. I believe
it. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's porno fan bits. All right, so what are we talking about here? The relationship is great, and they're like trying to figure out how they can stretch this mithril because clearly they don't have enough to do anything of significance. And then they figure, well, maybe we can bond it, and they're like bonding under heat and pressure, which isn't working. And Halbrand's like, what if we try it like this and this and this and this? And the dude's like,
like maybe we should be nicer to it instead of using excessive heat and shit. It's like, oh, okay.
Why don't we just give it a hug?
Yeah.
Let it come to us.
Because initially the plan is to make it a crown. And then it's like, well, that's just not enough. Let's make it separate for some reason. And we'll do 3 things.
Well, it was Galadriel that said 3 because she didn't want... Because they were going to do 2. But she was like, let's do 3 because
for the balance. Yeah,
just to maintain... And it's like, well, except that if you have 2 bad guys, you're screwed. Because they now outnumber you, dummy.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't understand math. It happens.
Yeah, I don't either, to be fair.
Same.
I was just hoping I was making sense. So yeah, she does her like due diligence of researching his 23andMe, his ancestry.com, and it comes with this fucking scroll.
Yeah.
I don't. First of all, amazing that they had that in their basement library.
Hmm.
Like we just have every single made up person's lineage so we can discover it.
I
All
mean,
right.
that's the elves are essentially the Mormons of Middle Earth. Like they don't fuck around when it comes to
That makes sense
genealogy.
then. I take it all back. But yeah, she's like, the Southland's never had a king.
Mhm.
Who are you? And he's like, well, fuck. You want to be a queen?
Yeah,
Like,
right. He's like, well, I was there when there was still silence and stuff, and bam, magic in your face, and then just goes right into her head.
bam, magic in your face.
I mean, that's what it was.
Totally,
Because she's like, I'm
exactly.
gonna stab you, and he's like, no, you're not.
I like that
And
she
then
could
she,
still figure it out, right? Like it wasn't
Mhm.
overwhelming. Like she just bought into it, even though she was sort of sinking into it, in those
Oh yeah,
moments.
definitely. Well, because it was her brother.
Yeah. I just love that. I love that she doesn't show a lot of emotional range, this actress. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's directed that way or if she's doing it as a choice. It kind of bothers me. But I did
Mhm.
love how she was sort of fighting against this illusion and then she was sinking into it visibly and then she started like fighting at it again. And
Mhm.
I'd like that interplay. And she did such a good job in acting it that I believed the torment that she was going through. So
Yeah, definitely.
she doesn't really show a
Well,
lot of
I
emotion, but it still worked in this.
yeah, I feel like that has to be like the direction she's been given, because I mean, fuck, she's lost everything, and she continues to lose everything, but yet she's still got that fire in her to finish her brother's mission. And when she first goes into we'll just call it dream world or whatever the fuck he was
Mhm.
doing to her, and is talking to her brother. That's the first time we actually see that barrier break down, and she actually is like a fucking human.
Yeah. It was very cool. It was just this sense of like powerlessness that we've never
Yeah.
really experienced with her as a character yet.
Hmm.
Maybe that's exactly why I liked it so much, is that she's been presented as this superhero up to this point. She can do
Yeah.
anything better than everyone, and then all of a sudden, it's actually a struggle. All right, so we open this with the three witches like telling the stranger that he is Sauron and
Hmm.
that there's a mental wall put up that protected him from knowing his past,
Hmm.
which explains why he wouldn't know that Adar had beat him. And so, like at the very beginning of this, I was like, "What? No, I thought. Oh man, this whole time I thought this." And my wife was like, "Well, I saw online that this is this." I was like, "Why would you tell me that?
Right?
Why
Like,
did
I'm
you say?"
watching it right now, you shit. Yeah.
Just freaking out. She's like, "All right, sorry, fuck. I thought you knew." Like, dude, you're on the internet all day. Didn't see that. All right, but yeah, it just threw me off that they did that little bait and switch,
Hmm.
and then later on, when Galadriel reveals that that's Sauron, then we're like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, duh, we knew that."
Hmm.
The witches are even wrong. Like, how would they fucking know? They just know immense, powerful being, and that must be him. Because
Hmm.
how many could there possibly be? What I liked was that they're like, "You are Istari." So is that the name of
Hmm.
the angel things?
Hmm.
Okay, so all of them, even like Sauron and Balrogs, were once Istari,
I
and they were just
don't.
corrupted.
I'm trying to. I don't think Balrogs are, because Balrogs were like creations after that. Like, those are like uh. Oh my god, I just had a complete brain fart. But no,
No, they're
I don't
different.
think
Okay, that's
Balrogs
fine.
are. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are
Yeah.
like the head motherfuckers. They were the ones that sung creation, or sung life into being.
Really?
Mm.
Oh wow. Okay. I loved the dynamic, and then when the Harfoots arrived and they started trying to liberate him, and then the witches like turned on him and stuff, and it was just this great little battle between
Hmm.
everyone, and we got to see this stranger coming into his own powers, and sort of
Yeah.
once they dropped that wall, he could now then speak and communicate effectively, and I love the communication between him and Nori.
Hmm.
Now that he can talk, and like he genuinely cares for her as an
Oh yeah.
individual, and the fact that we had the leader guy die, and they're just like, I just want to sit here for a minute and just rest. I just like,
Yeah.
oh
It's like, I
man.
just want to see one last sunrise. That's like, that's how I want to go out
Yeah.
after I get murdered by a witch.
It's the best possible ending
Yeah,
after
100%.
being murdered by a witch. I thought that was just so beautiful, and I love the interplay of all of it. And then when he goes back, they're all like, celebrating him as, the good being that he is. And ultimately, Nori, he needs to go off and, find that location that the witches told him. And Nori ends up going with him. And he's like, well, which direction should we go? He says, well, whenever in doubt, follow your nose. And I
Yeah.
was like,
And that's when we
that's
find
it.
out he's Toucan Sam.
It's not where I was going, but okay.
Where were you going?
That proves he's the Gandalf.
See, I thought it was Toucan Sam. I was close.
Okay, well, you're in the totally wrong IP here, son. I just called you son. Son? I'm gonna start saying that just to piss people off. All right, son. Like, I'm
Fucking
older
old man
than you.
Campbell over here.
Get off my lawn, son. So what else happened? We went. So Galadriel presents it to him. He tries to trick her. She rejects it, and then she just wakes up. He's gone, and Elrond comes running down like, "There's something going on here.
Right.
I'm gonna figure it out." Does he not realize? Like, I don't understand why she doesn't tell him. Like, that's Sauron in front of us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And then if it's Sauron's idea about how to blend mithril with other metals, and Sauron's idea to build the rings, even if it's just two of them, why would you go along with it? Just stop the whole process.
Well, when she came to, it was after it was already done. Like the rings were already forged, weren't they? I thought
they did the liquid, I thought. Because once they found out how to meld it, and that was done, then... Because she didn't say, let's make one more,
that
right?
shit was cool as fuck to see, too.
Yeah, that was
like,
fun.
to actually see it separate into, like, the 3 precious metals. That was so goddamn cool.
Yeah, I like that. So they made the rings. The rings are a bit ostentatious for me. A little too gaudy, but...
I mean, that's what happens when fucking Celebrimbor makes rings, so whatever.
It's true. I was surprised they didn't have, like, glove nets, like Madonna glove nets attached to them and stuff. Or like a chain going back to a bracelet. Yet. It's my cosplay, motherfucker.
Right, that's like the rest of the mithril. Just goes up and around. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. But that this is huge because we know now here's my question. These were the first 3 rings. Is that the right order? Because I heard people bitching about these are not supposed to be built first.
That is the right order.
Okay, I don't know.
Goes,
I'm just telling what I heard.
Yeah, it goes elves, dwarves, men, and then the one.
Yeah. That's how I recited it when I was talking to my wife. But
well, and that's how it says it in the end of the fucking episode too. Like that's out of the book.
Right. Okay.
So I mean,
because that is the inscription.
But I don't think I'm wrong. Yeah.
So I liked that. I thought that was very cool that we see the very beginning stage in season 1. So do you think they're going to be breaking this out? Each season is a new creation of rings?
I think that might be where they go. I'd be fine with that because honestly, like this was so goddamn good. So good.
What do you think? Because the wizards were not supposed to show up until the 3rd age, right?
Presumably, but I think it was more so like the Council of Wizards. Because again, like the wizards were essentially just angels anyways, so like they were there before existence. It's just like the visage of them that we know wasn't until then.
Okay.
Because like Gandalf, like we've seen him in the movies die and like be reborn. Like that's just what happens.
So I wonder if they do like a set of ring creations each season. Like, what other things could possibly be going on in the world? Because, like, we understand the Númenors are going to be coming back, but then they finally get to Númenor and they see that the king had died. That was devastating.
Yeah, that was heavy.
And then people not wanting to go back out, and, like, it's going to be a whole thing. Like, the king was like, we have to support them. But then we saw that Isildur's sister going up and touching the Palantir.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the? She's a made up character. She was never in anything. So what the fuck do you think she's gonna have to do with this?
I don't know, but I mean that's gonna be the next season, definitely. Like that has to. We got to find out what the fuck she saw.
Yeah.
Because they built that they built it up so much, and then we don't even see her the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Like and because they made her up, she has to be some significant something.
Mm-hmm.
Because Halbrand they made up, and he's fucking Sauron.
Yep.
Which they
Pretty
reveal. I just loved the reveal, and I loved how.
Oh my god!
How
so good.
Like Milton's devil he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this seductive, fucking handsome devil instead of like this cretin that people always made Sauron out to be. I thought that was just a wonderful way of sort of twisting the character so that we're a little bit more inclined to listen to him rather than outright reject his proposals and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like seeing Galadriel fight with the idea of being his queen, and not really fight, she pretty much rejected it outright, but just the idea of the seducing part of it where we got to watch it. I thought that was so fucking cool. And then she relives that once she touches the ring in Lord of the Rings. She's like, I could be a whatever, tyrant. That was dope as fuck.
Yeah, so goddamn good.
What else we got here? They forge the 3 rings. They go back to Númenor.
I mean, that's
and the king died.
Pretty much it, yeah.
And then we go back to the Harfoots, and Nori decides to go off with him. Always follow your nose. And that's it. Yeah. All right. So what was your favorite part of this episode?
Oh my god, that reveal at the end. Like that was Milton's devil meets like fucking cool Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Just god, it was so fucking awesome.
I like that. Yeah, it was great. Now I need to know, like, is he just gonna like worm his way and change into a dwarf and get into the mines? And do you think him telling the dwarf lords to forge the rings, is he going to, because they're going to need mithril for it, right? So he's going to make them, like, convince them to delve deeper and get that Balrog's attention even more. Because right now it's like the neighbor was just stomped loud, and you're like, what are you doing up there? Stop fucking stomping. But as soon as they're tap dancing, then you're like, whoa, motherfuckers. So I think Sauron's going to make the dwarves tap dance.
Yeah, definitely. I fucking hope so.
If anyone followed anything I just said.
Hey, I did. I believed it.
Okay, good.
It was there. The logic's there, goddamn.
Okay, good. Because I'm not. So, yeah, I don't know. My favorite part was definitely probably the same exact point. Like, I just thought it was so cool watching it. Least favorite part?
That they got me. That everything I said would be bullshit, lazy writing, turned out to be really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Halbrand, Sauron, fucking the strangers, Gandalf. Like, I thought that was stupid as shit, and now I'm like, give me another season.
I just feel like it was earned, you know?
It was. Yeah.
Like, we went through this wonderful journey this entire season, speculating, throwing our hands up, being convinced, and then being turned around again. And then suddenly we're learning a little bit more as these two beings learn more about themselves. And it just ends up, rather than on day one saying, this is X and Y, we work into it and we're like, okay, now I like that idea. That's cool. And it all makes sense. They laid the foundation. So it was very cool. Yeah. I don't know that I had a least favorite part of this. I think the entire show was dope as fuck. The entire episode. So that was good. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about with this thing?
No, I think we pretty much got it covered. Like, I definitely can't wait for the next season.
Yeah, me too. I was a little lukewarm coming in, but I've turned around. I'm really enjoying this, and I cannot wait to see where it goes next. Just, if for no other reason, just curiosity. Like, I just got to know.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. What did you think of this season? Did it make up for all of any inconsistencies you may have seen in it, or any acting problems or anything? What about the storyline of Sauron and Gandalf's character, the Istari? How did you like that? How did that play out for you? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, remember that evil spelled backwards is live. So get your asses out there and fucking be evil.
Yeah.